Warning, this video contains doll nudity of the 1/6 scale variety. These dolls are the Japanese variety. Japan is not afraid of the human body. To put it bluntly, Americans are afraid of boobs.
Today's video is a mild body comparison, but also a how-to body for installing a SpaZZco Obitsu onto a doll. For simple comparison here, we have Shanti, who is on a 21cm Volks. The new girl that's going to get the body swap, Harmony, and she is currently on the stock doll body. And then we have Ichigo, who is on a hard bust 23cm Obitsu body. The one that's been, it's doll Obitsu, if you don't know, has been modified. Doll torso on an Obitsu body hard bust. Cody is on a 23cm two-part soft bust Obitsu. And SpaZZco is on a 25cm two-part Obitsu body. Interestingly enough, SpaZZco's body is the exact same body that Harmony is going to get. So I'll do another video of them all standing together to show. Also, Cody is still dressed up from when she went out with us to an Obi Japanese candle lighting festival at a local park in Minnesota here just last weekend, and she is wearing a Waluigi outfit for the occasion, and she rode on my shoulder using my dolly chair, which is this contraption here. It is a gun holster with a dolly seat, modify it, and attach to twist ties to hold the dolly in place, so I can have a dolly ride on my shoulder wherever I go and not go anywhere. Nice thing about Obitsu doll bodies is they come with extra sets of hands, which the 27cm bodies do not come with extra hands, but the 21s, 23s, and 25s do. They come with extra little punchy hands and little grabby hands, and then of course the different neck peg pieces. So as you can see, she's going to get a bit of a height increase, but that is okay. We'll start by removing her wig. Her wig is actually elastic and just has a little bit of fun tack for support, so it's really easy. Your stock doll's wig is going to be glued on, and you just have to find a little lip in a corner to start pulling it off. There's plenty of videos explaining that. In fact, I've done it on previous videos as well. So there we go. And the elastic wig fits nice, but I like the thumbtack. It does kind of keep it from slipping around. And then we just have to take out these 3 screws. Do not have my normal dolly repair screwdriver, so I'll use my electrical kit, which seems to work just fine. Oh, vast. No, it doesn't. Okay, so this screwdriver isn't going to work because the bit doesn't stick out far enough to get into the 3rd hole. So I had to find something else. And there's your screws there. On the face there, and gently by the ears, and just kind of wiggle until it pops apart like that. Then the other 2 screws are still sitting in the bottom holes there, so I'm just going to set that down like that so they don't go anywhere. and then her body simply comes off of the hole in her head right there, like that. We'll choose the biggest one right off the bat. And there's a bigger hole there. And slip that on like that. See what it looks like we're going to have to do. It would be a fairly simple fit. Thinking based on the size of the hole compared to the net peg, the best way to get this to fit would either be to make the hole in the head bigger, which you probably wouldn't want to do, or trim the plastic down on this a little bit to get it to kind of sit in there better. So the best way to find out, put that aside, and if we look, if we're to have it cover this part up and have it sit down here further, it would be a nice snug fit, and it's not going to interfere with the eye mechanism moving left and right. So that's going to be our best course of action. And now I'm going to trim at this a little bit. So I'm going to take the torso off, the bust off of the torso, pop the arms off, and then this will just kind of slide up and off of there, just like that. And then we have access to the neck peg piece, which itself twists and turns inside. It's installed by a little ball joint and has a thing for tilting up and down. So what I'm going to end up doing is trimming just a little bit off the top here, and then trimming a couple of little notches into this piece so the head will fit on there nicely. And I want to make sure this is facing straight so that the way the head can look up and down instead of kind of looking sideways or at an angle. Normally I would use a Dremel, a small power tool, to do this because it make it easier, but that's not feasible for a lot of people. So this time I'm going to try using a file. And then I'll stick the piece back on and see how far it comes down. A little more. The idea is I want this piece to come down nearly flush up against with that. There we go, that's pretty good. Minimizes that gap, the two little notches. Hole. Not quite yet, a little more. If you can kind of see, I'm kind of getting a flat edge shape on both sides. That ought to be perfect right there. Looks like it was made to fit in there nicely. Make sure this is turned straight so it's lined up. Slide the bust piece back on till the hole for the arms line up like that. Put the arms on later. The neck peg piece on. Put the screw in. See if the screw will go in far enough after the modifications. It may or it may not. In this case, the screw is actually just a little bit too long. So, because I sanded the peg down, I have one of two options. I can A, try and file or cut a little bit of the tip of the screw down Or I could put a washer on it, which will keep the screw from going in all the way. Brown box of magical dolly repair, which also still has a puddle badge in it. We have a little box of neck peg pieces, eyelets and banders, and a tiny copper washer. That should work perfectly. There we go. Well, we'll put the little washer on the screw like that. The screw in the neck peg. Tighten it down. Not too tight, just till it stops. And there we go. That takes care of that play, and it should still not interfere with the neck peg. Make sure it's turned so it's facing the right way. I'm going to put at least one rubber band on it to take up some slop. Give it a nice snug fit. Make sure the head closes. Just kind of fidget with it till it closes nice. That looks good. It looks like it'll fit really nice. This is a really cheap screwdriver. I'd suggest not using cheap screwdrivers, like I always say. But I was too lazy to go down to the garage to get another good one, so I'm just got to be careful. I've already felt the screwdriver slip inside of the screw a little bit. That's one of the reasons why you don't want to use cheap screwdrivers. Like just there, if you just heard that click, it slipped on me. But, there we go. Attached. Her head can down and up and turn just fine. Sometimes after a while the rubber does get a little soft and it'll stick, but once you turn it, it should break free. I've never had that cause a problem though. Let's put our arms on. Put her wig back on her. Piece de resistance. The wig's a little bigger on her, but it's alright. I give it a little squish to grab the front tack nicely. Tweak her hair a little bit. And there we go. Now she's a teenager. I made sure to take all their boots and shoes off so that they'd all be standing at an equal height so you can get a good idea of the height difference. Now, there is some debate as to whether or not this is actually a 21 centimeter or 23. Her body was purchased used, so we're not sure, but if we compare it to Cody, who's a 23, it does look like she's a tiny bit shorter. So she may very well be a 21 centimeter, which is what my wife wanted for her. Because she, her, and her are my wife's little girls. Technically she's my wife's as well, but they kind of adopted her. And then this is my new little girl. So, she doesn't have her eyes yet. Perhaps when I get eye chips for her, I'll do a bit of how to do that, because I don't think I've done that. My other new girl is her mother, and I have not gotten new eyes for her yet either. She is on a 27 centimeter two-part soft bust. And she currently has Sosa Seconds full lights for eyes. So, that's the plan. and I hope that helps some people.